I only work with single people. Single
Okay.
people like me that are like, what the hell is going on here? Why can't I meet someone and make something work and make something last? So I have a very specific target audience, you could say. People I work with are like me. I hit the end of my rope. Like, what's going on? Why can't I make a relationship work? Right. So I've been doing this now for 15 years, and all my books are on this topic and my podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what are some mistakes that you see? I think I've heard you say that a lot of people kind of go into the dating pool blaming their ex and blaming everybody else
That's
that
one.
they meet.
Yep.
What
That's
are some other mistakes that you see people make? I'm sure that over 15 years, you've probably seen some recurring themes.
Right. Well, yeah, the biggie is to be blaming and not looking for your part. That's the big one. The second one might be, let's see, how would I describe this second one? Since we're talking here about divorce resiliency and recovery, and then maybe starting the second chapter, right? And creating a new relationship that's healthy and lasting. The second mistake is a lot of my clients come to me and their starting point, their question is, okay, where do I go to meet someone? Like, how do I meet someone? And how do I get them to approach me, or me to approach them? Or what do I say? How do I flirt? Online dating, right? So they're asking me about how to meet and create the next thing. And so let me give you an illustration. I think there's a beautiful metaphor, I guess, to show the mistake that I think is being made. I say that with no judgment. I mean, I did that too. I just jumped online. Okay. So just imagine that the viewer, the listener wants to compete in a triathlon. You want to do really well in a triathlon. Okay. And then further imagine that I'm a triathlon coach. I'm retired now. I won the Ironman. I've been successful, and now I'm too old. And so I help other young aspiring triathletes. Okay. All this is imaginary. I have a car. I don't have to ride a bike that far. Okay. So, in that dynamic, what could happen is the triathlete could sit down with me and start asking me questions and about race day strategy. Okay, like, how do I survive in the water in the beginning because it's a frenzy? And then how do I transition from the water to the bike and the bike to the marathon? And I'm going to be out there for 8, 10, 12 hours. So when do I eat? How much do I eat? How much water do I drink? Where on the course should I speed up and reserve, or try to slow down and conserve energy? So as a triathlete coach who's been successful, I hear all those questions and I'm like, okay, those are important questions. Strategy on the day of the race, when you get on that starting line, that's important. But you're not asking me about what you should be asking me about. You should be asking me about, how do I get my butt in shape for this thing? Because if I'm 50 pounds overweight, I can have the greatest race day strategy in the world, and I'm not going to make it 50 yards in the water, because you have to be in shape in order to go the distance. And once you're in shape, okay, now we can talk about a little strategy. But the most important thing is, can you do this? Are you prepared to face what you're going to face? Are you prepared to go the distance? This is the mistake people make. They think about race day. They think about, how do I get on the starting line where I'm face to face with this person? And then what do I do? How do I flirt? How do I interact? How do we communicate? How do we set up the first date? How do I get a second date? Those are important questions, but they're not what you should be asking me. You should be asking me, how do I make sure that I am in shape so that when I do, however life works, when I do meet that special someone, am I ready to go the distance? Am I in shape for this? Are my relationship muscles strong enough and fit enough so that I am prepared to handle the challenge of a relationship with another human being, which, by the way, is not easy to do.
I know. I love
That's why we
this
love
approach,
dogs.
Roy.
We love dogs
Yeah.
because it's easy. They just love us all the time. No matter, we could beat the hell out of them. They still love us. So dogs are easy. We all love dogs. Humans, they're not so easy. They have an ego. They have their own needs. They have their own. So are you prepared for what's ahead? And so the mistake is we think about where to find someone instead of saying, am I ready for this? What work do I need to do to get in shape so that then I can just sort of sit back and allow life to unfold however it does. I mean, I met my wife. I sat down next to the prettiest girl in the room at a personal growth conference. It's like 80 people in the room. And I just know who's the prettiest girl. I just sat down next to her and we got married 18 months later.
Oh,
So how does
that's beautiful.
How does that happen? Right. You can meet women online, but I met my first wife in college at a college event. I was sitting behind her and I started flirting with her. And so there's going to be some bizarre way that you meet someone, whether it's online or through the normal course of life, at an airport, at the grocery, who knows? The issue is, are you ready for when that happens? And the important thing for us to consider is that maybe we're not. Like maybe we're not in good enough shape. In other words, can you look at your past relationship history? If you're willing to look in the mirror, what you're going to find, like I did, oh man, I was dangerously out of shape. No wonder why my love life was awful. I hadn't worked through some of my baggage. I wasn't aware of some of my blind spots and some of the ways in which I was needy and the ways I would communicate. I mean, I wasn't ready to make a relationship work in a healthy way. So I kind of had to go into some fitness training, do some workouts with my coach so that I was ready. And then I was able to meet my wife. And lo and behold, when I met her, she had just finished 3 years of therapy recovering from her divorce.
Wow.
So she had done
the timing
her work.
Was perfect. Yeah.
Right? So she's in shape. I'm in shape. We meet. And now we're not going to create the same dynamics that have been screwing up both of our lives. Right. Mm-hmm. And we can get into this, but that's part of what the law of attraction is. I was in shape, which means I attracted someone who was in shape.
Right. And I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. And I believe the way that works. I think some people think, oh, I'm just going to do a vision board and then my man's going to come along. And I think what'll happen is you'll get all these men that are not your ideal life mate to help you, show you your issues so that you will evolve to a point where you will align with your ideal life mate. And so then you'll meet them once you've done that work. And I think that's your point about blaming everybody else. If you, in that process, it's really easy to think, oh, well, all guys are assholes rather than saying, you know what, maybe the universe is trying to tell me something here. Maybe I need to make some shifts and changes so that I can evolve and align with somebody who's healthier for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. I would only add to that by saying, to me, the law of attraction means like attracts like. And so one of my statements is that the law of attraction can ruin your love life, meaning it can work against you or it can work for you. So we should talk about this because this is so relevant to wanting to create that second chapter. Okay.
Totally agree.
So the law of attraction, if it is a law, you don't choose it. You don't say, I'm going to use the law of attraction any more than you say, I'm going to use the law of gravity. Right. You can't get up tomorrow morning and say, nope, I'm not using gravity this morning. I'm going to fly. Okay. Try that. Try jumping off a building. I'm not using law of attraction. Splat. Okay. So if the law of attraction or law of gravity, if the law of attraction is real, then it's always operating whether you want to or not. It's either going to work for you or against you. So what it says is like attracts like, which means in our phrasing here, if I'm relationally out of shape and unhealthy, I'm going to attract someone who is relationally out of shape and unhealthy. We're going to be on the same wavelength. You can never attract someone who is more evolved or healthier than you are. You can only attract at your level.
Yes.
And you always attract at your level. So the law of attraction in that sense was working against me. I kept attracting women that were just as messed up as me, if we can just put it that way. Okay. When I stopped and did some work and I raised my level of consciousness, you could say, my level of relationship fitness, then I would attract at that level. Do you follow me? So this whole idea about I want to have a vision board and a list, and I have this vision of this beautiful man or this beautiful woman, forget it. You're going to attract after your own vibration, after your own level of consciousness. So if you want that, be that.